It is a privilege to have with us Professor Vinod Lakshman, an accomplished applied artist, academic, and visual communication expert with over 2 decades of experience, spanning both the creative industry and higher education. A university first rank holder in MFA Applied Art and UGC NET qualified in visual arts, he began his career as an art director before dedicating himself to shaping young creative minds at institutions such as Amrita School of Arts and Sciences and Sacred Heart College, Tevara. A widely invited speaker on visual rhetoric, branding, semiotics, and digital culture, and an active contributor to curriculum development and academic bodies, he brings a rare blend of industry insight, scholarly depth, and artistic sensibility to guide today's panel on design thinking in the new digital economy. Welcome, sir.
A very warm good morning. And with this, we are starting the panel discussion. And we have eminent people, luminaries actually in the field of design and design thinking. So beginning the panel discussion, and it is my duty to put into perspective the topic. So I belong to the early 70s kid, the modern day language. And 1990s have been my year of travel. And mostly booking tickets in railway stations that had become a routine. I'm just thinking now how difficult it was. Previous night we had to sit with a book called the Railway Timetable, which contained the names of all the trains and their timings and all that. So first we have to decide where we want to go, open the book and make a note on a piece of paper, and next day morning go to the railway station, and there'll be a huge hall bigger than this, where you will find serpentine queues, several rows of queues, people standing there. And there is another queue for ticket inquiry. So we go there and stand and we ask for this train number. We have to know the train number. It was important that we should know the train number. We should know the train name, everything. And then we ask them and they say, sorry, this is booked. So can you, and they help us. They give the next alternative. By the time the consumer decides it will be about 15 minutes or 20 minutes and people are waiting. And if we are lucky, we'll be able to reach the counter by in about 45 minutes time. And we have nothing to while away time. No music or no gadgets or anything like that. So we just stand there. And then filling up forms, booking the ticket, and then we travel. And all of a sudden we have, in the modern sense, all these things can be done with a few taps on the mobile phone. What actually changed? Is it the technology? Yes, technology. And more than technology, something that changed was the way people thought. The thinking changed, the design thinking changed, the inconvenience and to the convenience. So that thinking changed in the first thing. So this is one story. The second one is in 2013, Google launched Google Lens, an eyepiece, a spectacle, a specs, where it can be used as a computer. The whole computer screen will appear in front of your eyes and it will record very high quality video and all that. And some people actually bought it for something like 2 lakh rupees and they were flaunting it around and all that. But it created huge social problems because people were thinking they were constantly being surveyed, being watched and recorded and all that. There is no privacy, and common people actually became so furious with the users of this thing. They even had a bad word for them. They called them glassholes. Okay, and soon this Google Glass, it flopped. Why? Because even the users later on started thinking that what exact problem this particular gadget solved for us? Nothing. So that is the reason why it flopped. So there has to be a problem and a creative way of solving that problem. This is the second part of the theme. The third part is that the creative economy. Some years ago, now actually we don't see the money that we pay. Do we see? No. Previously, we used to take our wallets, open it, take the money, physically feel the money, see it, and then we get the return in change and all that. So all the mathematics done in our head, and we put it back in the pocket. Now such a thing is not happening. And when credit cards were launched, it was the size of a visiting card, and it was also a beautiful design because it had to be fit inside a standard pocket, and also all the standard size of the wallet. So credit card, people started buying things that they really did not want by with the money that they did not have. And credit card came in. That changed our economic system altogether. We can call it creative economy or digital economy. So it is up to us. And this is the topic of our discussion today. So let me first introduce Mr. Anil Reddy to begin the topic. Welcome, sir.
Thank you so much. To introduce myself, I think the AI record was pretty good. I did a pretty decent introduction. So before AI, my introduction used to take about 15 to 20 minutes. And I used to waste that amount of time to introduce myself because I started my career as an artist. I studied fine arts back in 90s. And then I got into computers in early 2000. Then I built my career in computers. But before that, while I was exploring art, right, I did work in a movie industry. I put some movie sets and all that for Tamil movie industry. I couldn't build a career over there. So then I moved into the computers. Then I got too deep into the computers. Then I started building my own career using the technology as the canvas. So this introduction I was talking about, right? I didn't know how to introduce myself. Then I put the whole paragraph of my introduction into AI, and AI shortened it. And now my introduction is I'm an artist by heart, a designer by soul, and an entrepreneur by choice. What took me 15, 20 minutes, now I finish off in less than a minute. So thanks to AI, and today we're going to discuss more about everything that you mentioned as a topic. Beautiful. I've experienced standing in the queue in a railway station. I still wonder what was I standing and doing for 1.5 hours. Today I'm so restless. Even while all the people here on the stage were speaking, I was on my phone. Yeah, I was so restless, and that's what mobile phones have done to us. But anyways, thank you so much for inviting me here, and I'm going to share my knowledge about the topic that we're going to discuss today. Thank you.
Hi everyone. I think the introduction made a good justice to what I am. So, hi, nice to see everyone. The new creative economy is the best time when designers, like as a designers, it's the best time to exist. Because unlike the 1990s where everything where design was just seen as a way to decorate everything, we have evolved a lot. We are now in a society where design is the strategy for a lot of innovations and startup. So yeah, looking forward for the conversation with every one of you. Thank you.
Thank you for having me here. It's a pleasure to be here. And the introduction, when I was listening to what he was mentioning about the ticket and things, one of the thing that we can observe in the last 3 to 4 years is that the changes that we are seeing right now are more defined. It's not like a spectrum of things that is changing from black to white over time. It is like suddenly the things are changing in one shot. Like the penetration of internet used to take a lot of time. People moving from 3G to 4G itself was a huge change, or a change that took a lot of time. But now things that the kind of travels that things are getting, the kind of downloads things are getting, the way people are moving, whether it is to UPI, whether it is to chat GPTs or AI. Today morning I heard a conversation about ChatGPT even before coming here from a normal place like a hotel or something. People were talking about it as if it's another Twitter or another Facebook that they are using. So the way people have started consuming things is much more defined now. It is happening much rapidly. And for the creative design also, I think this is one time where we are seeing that change happening right in front of us. It's not like a 6 months the change will happen or 6 months the change may happen. It's like the change already has happened and another change might happen tomorrow, or before we have this conversation, or at the end of the conversation, we might have something new to say. So it's very rapid, it is very scaled, and it's a great topic to have talk about and listen from other people to know their perspectives. So thank you for having me here.
So Dr. Devika, you have a very wonderful and curious profile, a homeopath, a homeo doctor, going into design thinking and being a designer. So can you explain that path and how this design thinking has helped you in shaping your present situation?
My motivation when I was home doctor and when I am the designer is the same. It's people, it's the users. So when I was a homeo doctor, I used to interact with a lot of patients and people, right? So I was amused at how the way they think and how the way they perceive things can make a big change and a big impact in their lives. So that is why then I went to a degree in cognitive science, where I thought I could explore that more. And from there, I discovered that design is the place where we can give a lot of interventions and applications of cognitive science, and that's how I became a designer.
Wonderful, sir. So Anil, you are an artist. So you have your fine arts degree, I presume. So similar with me, I am also a fine arts graduate and applied art to be precise. And can you explain art, the melding point of art, technology, AI and everything? Do you agree with AI taking over art, or how is it?
I do not agree with AI taking over art, but yes, AI is generating pretty good artworks. But if you ask me, when I see AI generated art, I'm not a big fan of it. That's the point. I hate AI. But for me, I'm weak at writing content. I love AI where it helps me write content. So we have other side of the stories where people are not that great with art. They're able to create art using AI and they're very happy doing that. And they're all great content writers. They hate when AI writes content. So there is a love and hate relationship with AI. And I'm a very traditional artist. I'm building a lot of AI engines in my new startup. I'm learning AI day in and out. But still, the base of everything is my book and my pencil. Do you guys know this wooden stick with a graphite inside and a rubber on the other side? Do you know what is it? Pencil, do you carry it? When was the last time you saw a pencil? You all carry it, right, students? I'm asking you. I'm going to come around and check your bag if you're carrying a pencil. So that's the start of everything. Even when I built my design studio and scaled it across the globe, I never imagined that I could take a small design studio that I built in a garage to San Jose and San Francisco and Dubai. But everything started in my book holding a pencil. Even today, I'm building a new startup. The pet industry is so new to me. I don't know anything about pet apart from having 2 dogs at home. So to learn everything was on the book first. I spread this. Even when I'm in a meeting, if I have to take notes, I take it in a form of sketch. I call it sketch note. So I cannot write words, so I draw figures. I take notes like that. So to answer your question, AI is here. AI is like my best friend, and it is not going to take over anything that I'm doing. And I do way better than AI. So I use AI to build things much faster.
Excellent. Wonderful. So this actually reminded me of a Microsoft print ad, which was released so many years ago. It did not show any part of a computer, and it had the photograph of a pencil, and the end of the pencil was shown. Chavacha or pencil, and the headline read, "The man who invented the computer did not come up with the idea sitting in front of a computer." That's all. So
Brilliant.
So that explained everything, and that is how that things have changed. Sir, Hiran sir, you are a product designer, and what all things do you have in mind when you think of product designing? Other than it has to be user centric. And other than all that, do you look into aesthetics, or do you give a lot of importance to aesthetics, or is it simply problem solving?
It's a mix of everything. Like when it comes to product designing, it is never that The job is just to solve the problem. In fact, problem solving is something that has to happen by default, whether it is any product so far, any successful product, someone has to solve the problem. So problem solving is a fundamental thing. It's almost like a common sense kind of thing. Aesthetics is also a common sense. Aesthetic is nothing major that only few people can do or something. There is a taste and everyone has their own taste. And similarly, when it comes to this visual design, it is also something, there are people who believes in that also. Like it is also something like common sense. It's not like you need a specialist to build that or anything. The mix of all these three, understanding the business, understanding the right user and the industry, understanding the technology that is behind and how it is actually working. Like there is an interesting AI video when there is not an AI video, a video about AI work. People are talking about you're asking some random stupid questions to a chat GPT. What happens there is that it is taking that whole thing, converting it to a token, vectorizing, some data center is working, a lot of power is consumed, and it is coming back through all the cables. And all you ask is a very simple question that a calculator can do, a 3 plus 3. So the thing is this scalable? So these are the questions that a product designer should also think about. Yes, it is ultimately about the user. But when the user is ready to consume things, is the company able to provide that kind of infrastructure over time? Is that going to, at the end of the day, benefit both parties and the society together? Or is it just going to be a thing that user wants, but we don't know how to place it? We have a lot of products that came, like the lens you were talking. There are a lot of products that came too early. Is it because the people were not really ready to adopt it, or was the placement wrong? Or was it too costly that day that it didn't work for that particular customer group? These are all things that we should be thinking when it comes to design thinking or a design product designing, in my opinion.
And regarding communication design, recently I saw a video of two AIs discussing on hotel booking, and all of a sudden they switch to their own language, which is totally unknown to humans. And we really do not know what they actually spoke. And isn't that a threat? What is your opinion about AI taking over communications?
Is it a threat? Everything is a threat. If I'm not as optimistic as him, Anil, like my side would be, if I'm being a bit pessimistic, everything can be seen as a threat. Electricity is a threat. You can accidentally get shocked. Or having a mobile phone is actually a threat. Even now I was thinking of taking it, and even though we are sitting in a panel, I was curious to know what that notification is. We are tuned to that. So everything has that threat angle. When it comes to communication, it depends on the purpose of communication also. Are you trying to get attention? Are you just trying to communicate for the sake of communicating? Are you just randomly talking in some gibberish and assuming that it is a communication? Then it depends. And if our intention is to, let's say, write something in 16 pages in a very small font so that people doesn't read and get a legal clause later, for that AI is the solution. AI can confuse you more than a human can. So you can use it for that. If your intention is, if your company's or corporate's intention is to make people pay the fine later, yes, AI might be a good tool for them and a bad tool for us. So it's the way it is being consumed is never going to, we can't define how people are going to use a technology. So based on that, it will always be harmful or non-harmful.
Right. I can add a little bit to that. So my new startup, I started in 2024. And what I promised my investor was it will take about 2 years to build the product. So back in 2024, early 2024, I didn't know the depth of AI I could get into. So with adapting to AI, instead of 2 years, we built everything in 8 months. So I saved the money for my investor and I used that money to market and get into the sales. So there are good things about AI. And again, I've seen the AI on the other side where a common man using AI. And there are points where it is not great to see what they're creating out of it. I think there has to be some rules around it, who can use and who cannot use. And if it's given to the common people, it's going to be a big threat, especially in a highly populated country like India, and there is no regulations about how to use AI. Government has not taken any initiative about state-wise policies about where to use AI. And the sad part about AI is it's gone social now. Whoever uses AI can publish it in the public portal. So a lot of like here is a very interesting thing. One of my I come from a very small village called Anegundi in Hampi. There's a lot of leopards over there. So someone created a CCTV camera where a leopard has got inside the village and dragged the kid out. Okay, it's so real that the entire villagers started believing it. It's unnecessary, right? It was again created by some idiot in the village.
Oh God.
And which panicked the entire village. Now, is that really necessary to give in the hands of common people?
Yeah, it can be a very, very dangerous weapon actually. So how do you actually apply design thinking into your pet centric innovation?
So design thinking, if you see, right, if you really go on learning design thinking, it's a very long process. It's an iterative, very long process. Okay, like he mentioned, just use common sense, and that's what design thinking is. Okay, it is not a course or it is not an online certification that you have to get to apply on it. So I believe in build fast, launch fast, fail fast. Like the Kerala startup person, Mr. Tom mentioned about fail fast is very important. And in today's in a startup culture, right? Everybody expects you to launch a product fast, learn fast, and fail fast. So with Happy Pet, design thinking was not the process that we followed. We took a design first approach, but we built things really fast, so that we could launch the product fast and get the feedback fast. Like for example, we built a mobile app for the pet parents. In India, no pet parents experienced a mobile app to manage the pet records. So we built something not knowing whether this will work or not work. So we had features like you can walk your dog. When you're walking your dog, you can track the walks of the dog, and also if it poops or if it pees, you can record it. Why will a pet parent record a poop or a pee on a mobile app, right? So then we thought that why will people even record it? Then we put AI into it where you can take a photograph of the poop, it will tell you what's wrong with your dog's stomach. Now this got interesting. Lot of pet parents don't know that the dog is sick until unless dog really falls flat. So we have engine inside where it predicts if your dog is sick or not. Now these are the interesting things that comes inside, and this was through design thinking.
Definitely. Oh, amazing. And Dr. Devika, I know how it helps in understanding people when you are a homeopath expert. You can know whether the person is an Axomica person or a Pulsatilla person. Do you apply that kind of thinking when you try to communicate with people, your clients? How do you manage everything? Because whatever we learned, I believe, is not a waste. It comes in use somewhere in our life.
It's never a waste. What I learned from people is that anything can be unpredictable. I mean, that is what I apply to design thinking also. If I design a product thinking that this is how it should work, it will never work that way. It should always be tested, it should always be iterated, and the process should always go on. The same thing can happen in my homeopathic clinic also. I might think, oh, what he's saying is the truth, and I might prescribe a medicine according to his personality. But it can always go wrong. We should always be ready to reconsider what we are thinking and to accept failure. Yeah, both as a doctor and as a design thinker, that is what I think.
Yeah. For the sake of our students, can you explain the idea of iterations and prototyping?
Yeah.
From your experience.
From my experience. What I generally keep as a role model in my iteration is Thomas Edison, because I was reading about him last day because I had to talk about strategic thinking and innovation and all that. So Tim Brooke in Harvard Business Review had addressed Thomas Edison as the best design thinker he had ever known about, because he was ready to iterate. We all know about the 1,000 iterations that he went through to create the electric bulb. So that is what I keep in my mind whenever I am designing a product. A dangerous thing that any designer can do is to fall in love with our ideas. Never fall in love with the ideas. The only thing that you should ever fall in love with is the process of design thinking. Once you fall in love with the idea, everything stops working. I was a professionally trained homeopathic doctor, where I was always said that you can't be wrong. Because if you're wrong, you will mess up things, and that is the background I came from. But what I really realized when I came into design is that we should be able to make trashy designs, and we should be able to accept that what we made is a trashy design, learn from it and iterate from it and redo everything. Only with this mindset we can become a great design thinker, is what I think from my personal experience.
Wonderful. Yes. So, Hiran sir, your Swagatam, Swadantram Malayalam Computing. Can you give us a detailed description about what you actually did? How did you collaborate it, and what was the idea behind it?
It's a quite like I was a student then. I was an engineer who turned to designing, who is now not doing design or engineering. I would say a different path it would be. But while I was in engineering college, it was those days when the free software culture was established and popular, especially in Kerala. And we had a lot of people to mentor and support us, to teach, train, learn. There used to be a lot of Linux users group and everything. And from that, I started building a network of friends there. And a few of them started working on a project called, there is an operating system, a Linux distribution called as Debian. And Debian had a requirement of converting the localized, basically a Malayalam version of localization of Debian was the project. So a few of us, 3-4 people, almost everyone is elder than me, they took the project and they said that we will sit together and start converting. That's maximum 2,000, 3,000 lines of Malayalam. And we all know how to write Malayalam, though it is not a classic or a very formal language translation. We were ready to volunteer it. It's a learning, we did that. While doing that, we came to know that there is no typeface, there is no input tool available. We can't type Malayalam in a Linux machine. So we had to go to something called as a glyph tool, where you have to go and click each of the glyph. And we thought, okay, it is hard, but we can still do. Then we came to understand that the language itself is not rendered properly. The Malayalam doesn't look like Malayalam. It looks like a scrambled omelette, I would say. It's worse than that, but it's a broken jalebi. That was what everyone used to say about all the Indian languages then. So we started working on that engineering side of it, fixing the Malayalam or language solution. A lot of people started collaborating. We had opportunity to work with bigger players in the thing, like Hussain sir, who created the Malayalam font Rajana. So Rajana was the only Unicode font existing then. So even for that, we had a set of people to contribute. Then Sandosh Totingal came to the picture. He started contributing a lot of the system. He is still contributing a lot to the Indian language industry, I would say. He is an engineering lead in Wikimedia Foundation, and he was given a President's Medal for his contributions in Malayalam language computing. So all these happened on those days, and my contribution started on mostly on the community building level. Then while we were doing this, we came to know that the font was not existing. A lot of font versions were not there. So I started doing it thinking that it's a simple process. I started thinking that I will take the engineering side of it and someone else will draw for me. Then I came to know that drawing is not just an artist's job here. You have to reduce the vectors, you have to clean up the vector nodes and everything. So I had to start doing that. By doing that, I started learning designing. For that, I need to learn typography or understand typography. To know that, I started doing designs, and by then I started feeling like, okay, design is what I want to do than engineering, and I chose to move to this side. But this was a starting point of that, and this is what Swandra Malayalam Computing did. Later, so the Malayalam fonts that you are using now, the Malayalam rendering that you are seeing in all the tools, including Android, the indie keyboard that you can see in all the Android tools, the most of the Hugging Face corpus that we have for Malayalam TTS, all these are things that came from Swandra Malayalam computing or the parallel communities we had in that era of, let's say, 2025, from 2006 to, yeah, it's actually 20 years. Last 20 years, this is what is driving it. And the same contributions we have done has scaled to other languages as well. Say, for example, the Olam dictionary that Kailash has created. It's a Malayalam Malayalam to Malayalam and Malayalam to English dictionary. It's the same tool that is now used for all the Dravidian languages. There is a Kannada dictionary that is available. For them, this is the same open source base that is working. So all these came as a, it's not same, it is not the Swandra Malayalam computing, but it was all was happening in that last 20 years.
Any questions that you have, students? I am sure that you guys will have so many questions to ask. So don't be shy. You can ask your questions.
Let's start with what is stopping you from asking questions.
Exactly.
How many of you are introverts here? You can raise hands, I'll raise. You're too shy to ask questions. But you have questions in your mind, but you don't know how to ask. I was like that. So now you can ask. Whoever raised hands, everybody ask.
Yeah.
Yes. Very good. Very nice.
Hello. My name is Dhruv. And I think before I ask the question, I think it's something that I want to say is that, like, I want to thank you all for coming here and giving your views and experiences in the design field. I feel like that's very important as a designer to experience how, like, all of these different creatives act in the field. I think the main thing that has always pressurized me and something that I face every day is that like stoking my creative side. I feel like, making sure that I'm creative on a day-to-day basis. And I think the question that I wanted to ask was, how do you stoke that creativity? How do you keep that creativity coming on a day-to-day basis? What practices do you all engage on? Is the question to all of you. I kind of want to know.
Okay, I'll start first. So, not every day you can be creative when you can come up with nice, beautiful output. There are days it's humanly impossible because of whatever happens in your personal life. And for me to balance that, I make sure my life is that I'm very disciplined. So since the time I turned 24, I sleep on time. I sleep by 9:30, 10 o'clock. It sounds a little weird, but I still, even with Netflix and Prime and all that stuff, I shut everything down and sleep by 10 o'clock and I wake up by 4. The 4 o'clock, right, when I wake up, I know it's midnight for you, most of you guys. 4 o'clock when I wake up, I'm high on these things. My best to best work comes out when I'm that 4 to 6 o'clock, right, that 2 hours. My book is full of ideas. When I sit in front of computers, the best design comes out. I've been practicing that. And there are days I can't do that. It's fine. Not every day you're expected to do great things. As a designer, don't pressurize yourself with that. Some days it's good, some days it's not. The days when it is not, do some odd works. Like you finish the layout and you need to finish some terms and conditions page, which design doesn't require design. You just need to put some content or that. Do some work which doesn't require so much creativity and just enjoy it. The days when you don't get ideas is absolutely fine. It's absolutely human and it's a sign of a good designer.
Thank you, sir.
And also for me personally, I do agree with you. Discipline goes a very long way. But there is this common perception of a designer that you see in the books, right? Where like a guy who's wearing a loose t-shirt, who wears headphones and cooling glasses and walks on his own zone without putting much focus on what's happening around you. I am against that. I think a designer is a person who should always be keen on their observations and who should be always aware about what is happening around you. Because only if you are fully aware about the technology that is around you and what is happening around you, you will be able to retrieve information when you have to solve a problem. It is something that have helped me a lot. I hope that it will help you too.
Thank you, ma'am.
I'm the least creative and the least disciplined person to talk in this panel about this. But yeah, whatever that works for you, try to find that. Like it could be earlier 4 to 6 for him. It could be a midnight for someone else. It could be weekends for someone who is working on something else. Like everyone has their own individual pattern. Don't try to mimic just because he said 4 to 6. It could be 4 to 7 for you. That is one thing. The second thing is, at least for the current generation and coming generation, we are consuming a lot of content, much higher than what our previous generations used to consume. And that could make you feel also like the world is moving faster. There is an overwhelming thing there. Like you feel like everyone else is on their best day every day because you are not actually seeing them every day. You are just seeing, you are seeing 3 of us standing here. And today I am talking. Tomorrow I don't know whether I will be talking like this. So it is also against the, means it's also about the personal, there are many other factors also that is involving on how we answer things, how we think about certain things. Like for now, the perception came from that side to here. So I'm actually going through their idea and completing my sentence. If it was from here to that other side, Anil's answer would be completely different because it could, my answer or her answer could influence him. So that is one thing. The second thing is, one of the things that I strongly follow these days is that, as I said, I don't have that kind of discipline to not consume a lot of content, but when you consume content, filter it heavily. Like, don't keep everything in your Pinterest or your bookmark or your notebook saying that I will do all these things. If you have a way of consuming things, keep it in a place. Like as he said, I'm also a notebook guy. I'm actually a notebook guy. Like I walk around with a notebook, but this is not a notebook to write everything that I am seeing. I am observing, but I'm just filling it with what I think is important, and I might be missing a lot, and I'm fine with missing things. Because if it is that critical, the moment I see it again, it will come back to me and I will note it again. So when you want to be creative or when you are in the mood to be creative, don't think from a empty page. You go back to the observations you made, the logs you wrote, the kind of things that you noticed, and then go back to, like, say for example, you heard what Anil told about his previous organization. Go through that. You might find his own case studies there. Or you might find some LinkedIn where his ex-employee is currently working in a new company. And his profile might make you think of why can't I build something like this? So the rabbit hole is always endless, but don't jump to all the rabbit holes that is around you. So this is what I would say.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone.
Look, to sum it up, right, design for me, right, the last 25 years being a designer, design is a celebration. It has never been a job or it has never been a task for me. It's how guitar is for a guitarist, right? Like you ask a person who plays guitar, he plays when he's sad, he plays when he's happy, he plays guitar when he travels, and he slowly figures out how to make money out of it. Design is exactly the same. Don't pressurize yourself too much. Just imagine a guitarist and a guitar, and that's what design is for every designer sitting here. Eventually you'll figure out how to build a career, how to make money out of it, but enjoy designing. Go out, explore the world, eat different food, speak different language. These are all a part of becoming a great designer.
Yes, from this point, I can see 2 of my students, former students sitting here. One is Dr. Devika's sister, Sharika. She's also a designer. She is into video editing and all that, freelance video editing now. And can you please stand up so that the others can see you? Yes, and both their parent, their father is a luminary in the field of media. The first generation media professional he is, sir. So let them see you, sir. Yeah, that's Prasad, sir. And he belongs to the first generation of Malayalam media professionals in our state, actually. And the other person is Rahul. my dear student. He is now in advertising industry. He's also a good designer. He was my advertising student. He's in the advertising industry. And thank you all for coming here once again. Yeah. Lakshmi ma'am, do you have time? Yeah, questions.
Okay, so hello everyone, and thank you for coming here from my side as well. I'm actually going to ask you guys about an anecdote which might have happened with every one of you since you all are working or are part of a company. Has there ever been a design that you have loved but were not able to ship it due to some technical error or some type of creative difference?
Every day.
Yeah, every single day.
That's the job. That is what we are actually paid for. Not to design, but to accept that all designs are not becoming the final version.
Okay, so can you share a particular moment that you had?
I remember building this brand called Upstocks. If you know this brand, it's one of the leading.
I do, sir. I do.
You do, okay. So it was called RKSV, and I personally didn't like the name. I said RKSV doesn't really stand for anything. It's the founder's name. So I pitched, let's rename it, and I had some other name in my mind, and I thought the founders will fall in love with it. This was back in 2012 or 13. That's when I started Lollipop. And whole night I worked on it, and I thought tomorrow morning the clients are going to jump in joy looking at my design presentation and all that. They didn't react to it. The whole night, no sleep. They didn't react to it. But I figured out that people are like this. It's very subjective. And that story, right, for the last 25 years, it's the same. There are days when people love what I've designed. There are days they don't like. And there are people who don't know how to criticize. And this is the real world out there. Not everybody is going to tell you good, great, or no, it's okay. They will use harsh words. I received an email when I designed for one of the SaaS application, one-liner saying that you are the most horrible designer. How do you take it, right? Either you say like, I like the design, I don't like the design. But people don't know how to give a constructive criticism. It's okay. There are times people react to it. And your end goal is not to please the customer. The end goal is not to receive an email saying that I love the design, because that will take forever. And the real world is, there are days you do great design. There are days you can't do a great design. And sometimes you think your design is great. The client doesn't think it is great. So this is why I call design as a celebration. Celebration of great designs, celebrations of not so great designs. And yeah.
Just adding one line to this, the same goes back other way also. Like, we start liking our design, we start showing to people, they start celebrating, and while they are celebrating, we start finding flaws in our design. And then we have to convince them that my design that you are celebrating now is bad. And I have a better design with me, which they won't let us change. Because by the time, for us, the celebration is over. We have made the design, we have shown to few people, they have appreciated it, we are on a mellow mode, and now we know that, oh, by the way, this can actually be something else, or there is an edge case, or this can be in a different way. They won't agree to us. So this is also what happens in design. It can be in any corner, a good thing can become a bad thing, and vice versa. And also I have a past where I was running a advertising agency for 5 years. So that whole job is about this, creating good things, assuming that is the greatest design, and getting bashed by the clients because ultimately they are a decision maker, trying to convince them or reiterate it for their concept or have a fight with them until we reach the midpoint. So this is the job.
Okay,
I think the biggest nightmare in the design world is you create 3 designs, right? 2 straight comes from your heart. The third one, you'll just do it for the sake of it. You hate the design. Because the client has 3 designs, the third one, you just do it for time pass, and client loves the design. And yeah, I'll tell you, that is the most horrible experience, to take something that you really didn't put your heart into it, and now you have to forcefully fall in love with it. And because the client likes it.
And as a designer, I'm also unlearning how not to love my product too much. My ideas loving the product is still okay, but how not to love my ideas too much. Because if I get fixated on one idea that I created, then it might be difficult to detach myself from it and take a look, to zoom out and take a look at the bigger context.
Okay, so thank you all for that.
Good morning. I'm Gopika. I'm studying in Rajgiri College, first year student. So my question is to Anil sir. So during the panel discussion, you said that AI should be restricted to few people. So don't you think, sir, if we restrict the use of AI for a certain community, don't you think that will create a discrimination among others just because someone from their community did so? And how do you determine that who should be given the access and who should not be?
That's a good question. I think it's not about the community, it's about common people I'm talking about. So anything like, see, AI is, it's not a Gmail or it's not an Instagram, right? It is a very powerful tool. And until unless we have policies, we have a very strong backup to prove that this is not the right. And like for example, when you upload a photo, there has to be some stamp over there saying that this is AI, so that the people don't fall for it. So when you give this power to the common people, they all generate things. They manipulate, they take a photo and they map it to something else, and such power should not be given to the common people, is what I believe, what I feel. So even if you give it, there has to be some way to identify that this is AI generated. Currently, we don't have that. If you see a reel and if you believe it, I think there has to be something over there which pops up and says this is an AI content. Else, people will believe their own stories looking at the things. And with common people, when you give that right, it's always a risky thing. Very, very, very risky. Because such tool should be restricted to people who know how to use it, who behave well with such tools.
Thank you, sir.
This is one Mongol in that.
Hello, thank you for coming. I'm Prithvi. Especially Hiran sir, thank you for your feedback on my app prototype. And my question is, what should young design students consume or cultivate today to stay relevant and impactful in this growing creative economy? And also how to not let AI, infiltrate this innate human creative authenticity that we have? It's a generic question.
I think when we're talking about AI in design, there are different levels to it. It can be about how AI can be used in a design. It can be about how do we design with AI as our companion. And it can be about how to generate ideas. The third thing, how to generate ideas for design, I think is very dangerous for designers, because we are the people who have to connect to people, to their emotions, we are the people who have to empathize with people. So if we use AI for generating ideas, that could be dangerous. If I already have an idea, and if I have to extend it, or if I need a data to it, or if I want to know more knowledge around that idea, then it is okay to use AI. And AI, even though AI can be powerful, like how Anil sir said, but I still think that you should always embrace it and use it for the betterment of your this thing. Like you can use AI, Adobe Photoshop to just extend the images for which you had to spend hours and hours previously. So you can use it for the good things, but we should be mindful when we shouldn't use AI like how a software developer might use it.
So I think this is the only domain where you can get super creative with your portfolio and resume. An accountant cannot, a lawyer or a doctor, they cannot get creative with their resumes. Design is the only domain where you can go crazy on presenting yourself. one of the best resumes that I received when I was running Lollipop was this person made a short movie about electricity power cut in his village. It was so beautiful, so beautiful. And I didn't even look at his resume. I said, you pack your bags and come. The second person played a guitar and he sang his resume. And there was a tone where it was so sad he didn't get any job and the entire tone dipped. I fell in love with it. Now tell me who else can do this? Only designers can do such resumes. And please keep one PDF or Word copy of your resume. But if you really want to stand out, do some crazy out of the box stuff. And that will get people's attention. My first resume that I sent back in New Zealand when I was working there was, I bought a local wine bottle, I peeled the label off and I put my resume around it, which looked like a wine label. Instead of the alcohol percentage, I put my years of experience and it was really good. Then I put a note on the table, to the art director's table, saying that if you like it, let's have it together. If you don't, take it home and have it alone. And he called me up and he said, who are you, man? Then I got my job. So I received very less applications like this, but I always crave to see something crazy. If I see right, I don't even interview. I said, come, rest, we'll figure it out. I will teach you everything that I know. I'll teach you Figma, I'll teach you strategy, psychology, technology, all that stuff I'll teach. But if you don't have that spark in you to do something different, right, then you are one amongst that few million designers that India is producing. So just make sure all your resumes stand out.
I would like to add to that. Talking about resume, it reminded me of my resume when I applied for the job as a visualizer in an advertising agency. My resume was in the form of an interactive CD-ROM. So that was the year 2000 and nobody actually knew what was CD-ROM and all that. So I actually authored a CD-ROM, programmed it with the designs and all that, so made it very interactive. So if they want to know about my past and all, they can click there and they will get to know some videos, and so many things were integrated in that. I applied for the role of visualizer. A few days later, they called me up and said that you are selected as an art director. Please join us. So it can happen like that. As he said, the creativity in creating resumes, it's a wonderful art by itself.
And
just adding to that, the thing is, AI is there. AI is not going anywhere. We assume there will be a better guidelines from all the systems, whether it is coming from the corporates who are building AI or from the countries that is legalizing it or not legalizing it or whatever. There is a better policy structure to it. There are being a lot of misuses that is clearly scrutinized or considered as a cybercrime and everything. That needs to happen. But whether it happens or whether it happens later, slowly or whatever, the AI is going to exist. And for some reason, if you compare it with the major technological change that happened in the last 5 years or 6 years, whether it is the Web3 or cryptocurrency or the NFT and everything, nothing was this general public. Nothing was this directly connected to the people. So this is going to coexist. The advantage that a creative person has is, like, show a AI generated design to Anil. He says that design is mediocre because he knows what a good design is. Show a copy that is written by AI to a copywriter. They will say that it's a mediocre writing. AI is trained with existing content and they can produce a mediocre content. How an actual creative person works is by bouncing either with their own art or with other people, and that is where you level up your idea. If you just want to have an idea, like she was mentioning that you don't have to start ideating with the AI, the problem is not that you are starting there. The problem is that that idea is going to be mediocre. If you have a basic idea, let's say it's a one-line idea, I'm just asking them, it is again going to be a mediocre. Someone has to read through it, think about it and ask them, but I want to change this. I want to continue with this. This decision tree that you keep adding on, either by having a conversation with 3 people or 5 people or designing and reiterating, or drawing it in a paper and reiterating, or bouncing like how artist, Prasad sir is a good person to actually talk about bouncing ideas when it comes to script writing and everything. Like It is never ideas that are created in one shot. No ideas are version one that is you are seeing. They have an idea, they pitch to someone, they will bounce back something else. This is what is needed. If you want just a bouncer to support you, use it. But if you are completely believing that AI can do this, the end result is going to be much mediocre than what you can alone produce right now. It can change. I'm not saying it is not going to change. It might change, I don't know. And yes, when you look outside, it looks like an overwhelming setup where changes are coming a lot. But the thing is, consider this as an opportunity to learn new things. Consider this as a way of doing things. And just be curious about new things that is happening. Don't completely depend on that, but continue playing around with it. That's just, at the end of the day, we are all playing with things that we don't know.
One more question. Recently, we saw Coca-Cola ad and Olympics using AI for their, the Olympic Winter Games and all. What is your opinion on that? Shouldn't these brands be the ones upholding the standard, and they are doing this? What is your opinion on that?
I think it's okay. Every brand also wants to show off that we also know AI, and there will come a point where they'll say that now we are back to the old thing of doing it. If you look at, I recently built a house in Bangalore. Everything factory made was so cheap. Everything handmade was so expensive. After this AI automation and all that, a carpenter carving a wood is become double the cost. Now suddenly handmade things are so expensive. Now the cost that I budgeted out, right? I wanted everything handmade, from door to windows, everything. That is also expensive. Now there's a real value for the art. People are willing to pay. If I say this is AI, here is the painting, and nobody wants to hang that on the wall. They want a story. They want who painted it, who is the artist, why did he paint, what was the thought behind it, and they're ready to pay a few lakhs for that. And the state is a great example, right? If you look at the movie industry, Kerala industry has literally thrashed the Indian cinema. Where I come from a state, I belong to two states. One is the Andhra, spends few hundred crores on creating a movie, and here there is no budget. They tell a beautiful story. And this state has set an example for the movie industry. Forget about AI, forget everything. I think end of the day, the storytelling matters. Even with my designs, when I come up with fanciest design, if I don't tell a story, the design fails. And that is an art. So if Coca-Cola uses AI to tell a story, if they convince it well, great. If they don't use AI and the storytelling is great, then it really doesn't matter whether you're using AI or not using AI. And coming back to the movies, hats off. I think next time in the panel, please bring someone from the movie industry. And I am a big fan of Malayalam movies. And you guys have set an example. If ever India has to be recognized, right, as a movie, not Bollywood, it should be Kerala movies. And take inspiration from them. That's it. All you designers, right? Watch movies, get in touch with the directors, and all the directors are approachable. Very simple people, using small budget, creating world-class stuff. Which was that movie about what is it? Loka, right? What a great movie, man! What a small budget, and look at the output. There are a few AI elements used over there, special effects, world class, beautiful. I think inspirations are here only. You don't have to look at some American Coca-Cola and all that. You have it here only.
Thank you so much.
Can you pass the mic to him?
So, in this
You lost it.
the crowded markets, right? While you build a new brand, what is the contribution of design there in this AI-driven world?
Can you say that again?
So, the markets are very crowded now. So, while you're building a new brand, how the design can contribute to building a new brand, to be a distinct brand?
Yeah, I think it starts from the storytelling again and the presentation. And I pay a lot of, for me, design is a beautiful solution. You don't just solve the problem, you also add that beautifying angle to it, because the first attraction towards a product is how it looks, and then comes how it functions and all that stuff. And so when you're there, everybody thinks there's a rat race out there, it's a crowded market out there. It is not. There's nothing like that. Everybody's going slow. It's just that everybody's trying to tell, because of this people having the power of creating content, everybody's scaring everyone that we're running really fast. Nobody's running really fast. We are looking for designers at our studio, somebody who can do not just UI, UX, beyond that. So if you have the power of telling a story, then your brand will really, really stand out. Take Fevikwik, for example, where everybody, they were breaking their head on how to sell a Fevikwik. Fevikwik is the quick glue solution. They came up with a completely different ad, where this guy puts it on the stick and dips it in the water, pulls a fish out, and he walks out. And then the entire world turned towards what is Fevikwik. Okay, and the sales went up, a lot of things went up. It's a simple concept, no AI, no special effects, nothing. It's a one guy dipping the stick in the water, pulling fishes out. 15 seconds, finished. The brand sales went up, respect for the brand went up, and the agency that Ogilvy and Mehta who designed that, even they started getting, Piyush Pandey became big and he wrote a book about it. Just one simple ad, right? And this is the beauty of design. You don't need all those big budgets, great tools to do it. A simple idea will work. Can you pass the mic to him, or else he'll be disappointed?
Hello, myself Lakshman. So my question is, who do you think would define the next generation of designers?
I have an answer for that. I'll go first. For me, someone with soft skills.
Only with soft skills?
Super soft skills. Who can speak multi-languages.
Okay.
Who are very good with people. And who can travel places, who are open to learn new things. Not the one who knows Figma, not the one who knows technology. And the future designer is someone who speaks multi-languages, travels around, and very human-centric. Okay, not like, for example, to give you an idea, if I ask you to create a persona, you know persona, right? So when you design a product, you create a persona, right? So if you sit in front of Figma and create a persona, you're just an average designer. If you go out and find that real person out, then bring the insights and create a persona, you're a great designer. So the future designers are people who go out, meet real people, hear them out, come back and design a solution for that, right? Are great designers. Unfortunately, after COVID, we produced more work from homes, and people are creating design sitting in the four walls. That is not design. Those are all artworks. We are producing people who are creating artworks, and they're all average designers. And India is filled with such designers. And now who can speak multi-languages. And for example, if you move to another state, learn the language first. You'll please the local people. And then designing for them becomes easier. Now, for example, if you have to design a mobile app for an auto rickshaw driver, where would you start from?
From the auto.
Yeah, you'll sit in the auto first, spend more time, speak to him, speak to more auto rickshaw drivers, then you're very close to solving the problem.
Yes, sir.
So this is future designers. If you, instead of auto rickshaw drivers, if you put a prompt on AI will give you some 2-3 sheets of AI insights. If you start the work from there, you are just an average designer.
The idea that the society has sold to us is that we need to be very intelligent and smart, and we need to be like Elon Musk if we want to build something great. Or we should be like Bill Gates if we want to build something great. That's not true. All human beings are creative, but the difficult part of becoming a designer is to find the problem. I am still struggling with it. It's the biggest, if you find a problem that can be solved, half of your work is done. Anyone can create solutions for it. So open your ears, open your eyes, look around you, see what you see, find out the problems, and then go to the solutions or ideating part. That is just 30% of your work. 70% is finding the problem itself.
The thing with any changes is that when things change, there are people who are going to stuck with the friction. They assume this change is not going to be there. And then there are people who are ready to change, ready to learn, ready to unlearn. And I believe that is always the set of people who have succeeded in their life, whether it is in a design or creative. You might be good with a tool, you might be good with a process, you might be good with some style of working designs, or you might be having some kind of soft skills. Like you might be good at talking to senior people or CXOs. But that might not be what we need in the next job or next career growth or something. So if you are ready to adapt, if you are ready to understand that things are not set in stone and things can change, or you are ready to unlearn, that is always what helps the people. And it's usually very hard for people who are stuck in a particular process as such. Like if they start believing, like say for example, 20 years later, if you are a designer who starts your day by uploading all the conversations with your users to an AI system, and the AI is what is synthesizing and generating the the problem statement, as she said, the 30% of the crux, if it is an AI doing, the moment a better AI comes, you have to move to that. Moment a better system comes, if that can directly talk to customers and understand the problem, you are not needed. So nothing is actually written in the stone. It is always about understanding what is needed. And as he was mentioning, it is ultimately the soft skills that is going to thrive as a designer. It is about being grounded to the soft skills also. Like he was mentioning about Malayalam movies. Why are the current Malayalam movies getting more non-Malayali approvals? If you think, it is because it is rooted. Like when it is coming to Loka, when it is coming to Kumblangi Nights or any movie, there is a context that is globally working, though the movie is set in a local system. You don't have to go to Bangalore and set the story there to make them believe that this is a story that happens. Four brothers staying together is a story that works at any point. So being that grounded, being that rooted, and probably the same person was able to write a different movie with a different tone. Like if you are just taking Kumblangi, the story came from the same guy who wrote Joji and Mahesh and Pradigaram. 3 has 3 different arcs. But the thing is that it connects to the people. So how to unlearn and how to not be very proud of your own results and stuck there is the only thing that a designer has to do. Ignore what you have already made. That is not the standards. That is not the best designs. If you can go back to your own work and criticize it, if you can recreate it, unlearn, that will work, is what I believe.
So thank you.
Very well said.
Yes, I think we are reaching the time limit. And a few takeaways, what I have observed. Like Marshall McLuhan's famous maxim, the medium is the message. He gave us a new maxim. The design itself is a solution. So that will stay in my mind for a very, very long time. And as Dr. Devika said, what he called, never fall in love with your designs. And there is a technical word actually for that. It was used in the previous generation advertising professionals. It was called divine dissatisfaction. You have to be dissatisfied with what you do, and that is called divine because this dissatisfaction creates something better and much better works later on. So divine dissatisfaction. And as you said, sir, a designer's life is a continuous process of learning and unlearning. That is a wonderful thing that we should all keep in mind. So we had a wonderful panel actually of people, luminaries actually in the field, who gave us great insights into their own experiences and their works and their work culture and their experiences and all that. So I would take this moment to thank you all personally, and it was great, wonderful having you all with us. Thank you so much, all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Just I want to add a last thing. Even if we want, we can't come back to the college. We can learn AI, we can upgrade the skill and all this stuff. This is the best time in your life being in a college. Please enjoy the last few years of being in such a beautiful campus and being a student. And there's no rat race out there. There are plenty jobs for designers. Okay, don't worry about your career. Just have a good time. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you to our panelists, Anil Reddy, Hiran Venugopalan, Devika Panicker, our moderator, Professor Vinod Lakshman, and the audience, both online and in person, for such an engaging and interactive session. Now, we would like to present our panelists with mementos. For that, I invite Dr. Harikrishnan, Assistant Professor, to the stage. I also request Harikrishnan sir to present our moderator Professor Vinod Lakshman with a hamper. Thank you everybody.